What if everything you thought you knew about spies was a lie? Forget the tuxedos and gadgets. These films reveal the terrifying reality of espionage. From betrayal and paranoia to heart-stopping survival, these stories will leave you questioning the price of secrecy. But what happens when the world's deadliest secrets spill into the light? Stay with us, because these 13 gritty espionage films prove that James Bond is a joke. You won't believe the truth behind the lies. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, 1965. In The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, espionage is stripped of its glamour and laid bare in all its cold, brutal reality. Richard Burton plays Alec Liamus, a disillusioned British spy tasked with a dangerous mission during the Cold War. What unfolds isn't a suave game of international intrigue, but a world of betrayal, guilt, and moral ambiguity. There are no tuxedos or car chases, just the harsh reality of a life filled with compromises. Liamus's struggle isn't just against his enemies, but against the darkness within himself. The tension is relentless, and the final twist will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about spies. Unlike Bond's polished, larger-than-life adventures, this film focuses on the crushing weight of espionage's emotional cost. The cold, lonely world of Liamus is a far cry from Bond's world of high society and adventure. This is espionage for survival, where trust is a luxury and betrayal is always around the corner. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, 2011. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy offers a masterclass in tension and understatement. Gary Oldman plays George Smiley, a retired British intelligence officer pulled back into the fold to uncover a Soviet mole within MI6. The film is slow-burning, methodical, and steeped in moral grayness, much like the world it portrays. There's no flashy action, no explosive showdowns, just a painstaking search for the truth, wrapped in layers of deception. Each twist is revealed with surgical precision, making Bond's quick, action-packed missions feel like a simple game of cat and mouse. In Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, every glance and whispered conversation is fraught with meaning. Oldman's performance is captivating, and the film's quiet tension keeps you hooked until the very last frame. This is espionage, as it really is subtle, strategic, and often painful, leaving Bond's world of high-octane thrills looking shallow in comparison. The Lives of Others, 2006. Set in the heart of East Germany during the Cold War, The Lives of Others redefines espionage with an intimate human approach. The story follows a Stasi officer, Wiesler, tasked with spying on a playwright and his lover, only to become conflicted as he grows sympathetic toward his targets. The stakes aren't about thwarting international plots, they're about the moral dilemmas of loyalty and betrayal. The tension builds not through high-action sequences, but through the suffocating pressure of living under constant surveillance. This film shows espionage as a quiet, oppressive force, not the glamorous, fast-paced world Bond inhabits. The true terror lies not in physical danger, but in the emotional cost of surveillance, watching, judging, and controlling the lives of others. As Wiesler's character grapples with his role, the stakes become painfully personal. The Lives of Others proves that espionage doesn't need gadgets or explosions to be gripping. It just needs a story rooted in human emotion, a stark contrast to the cold, detached, thrill-seeking world of 007. The Bourne Identity, 2002. Forget the glamorous gadgets and tuxedos. The Bourne Identity introduces a new kind of spy, one that's broken, confused, and desperately fighting for survival. Matt Damon stars as Jason Bourne, an amnesiac who wakes up with no memory and only a target on his back. What follows isn't a stylish romp through international locations, but a raw, brutal race for survival. Bourne doesn't rely on high-tech spy gear or flashy escapes. He uses his wits, instincts, and relentless drive to stay alive. The film's realistic, gritty action sequences, often filmed with handheld cameras to enhance the feeling of chaos, focus on the visceral realities of being a spy. There's no suave persona here, just a man haunted by his past, trying to escape the people who created him. Every fight feels grounded, every chase feels like a matter of life or death. Unlike Bond, who thrives on charm and perfection, Bourne is unpolished and flawed, a man forced to confront his identity in the midst of a deadly conspiracy. The tension in the Bourne Identity is fueled by the constant fear of betrayal and the uncertainty of Bourne's past, an emotional journey that keeps the audience hooked from start to finish. Bourne isn't just a spy. He's a man struggling to reclaim his humanity in a world filled with danger and deception. This isn't the slick world of Bond. This is a fight for survival, stripped of all the glamour. The Day of the Jackal, 1973. The Day of the Jackal takes a completely different approach to espionage, one that's cool, calculated, and devoid of emotion. In this classic thriller, an anonymous assassin known only as the Jackal is hired to kill French President Charles de Gaulle. What makes the film so gripping is its precise focus on the assassin's meticulous planning and the cat-and-mouse chase that unfolds between him and the authorities. There's no heroic spy here, just a professional assassin who treats murder as a job. Edward Fox's portrayal of the Jackal is eerily calm, a man who follows orders with deadly efficiency, completely detached from the consequences of his actions. The film doesn't rely on high-octane action or flashy sequences. Instead, it builds tension through suspense, as the Jackal's plan unfolds with methodical precision. The French authorities, led by a dogged detective, race against time to uncover his identity before it's too late, creating a tense, edge-of-your-seat narrative. The film's brilliance lies in its restraint. Every moment feels like a step closer to disaster, but it's not until the very end that the true stakes are revealed. Unlike Bond, whose adventures often feature over-the-top villains and stunts, The Day of the Jackal focuses on the cold, clinical reality of assassination, where success is defined by attention to detail, not by any flashy heroics. It's espionage as an art, with the price of failure being far too high. No Way Out, 1987. No Way Out brings espionage into the realm of corporate and political intrigue, where the stakes are personal, the secrets are deadly, and the deception runs deep. Kevin Costner stars as Tom Farrell, A.U.S. Navy officer, caught in a dangerous cover-up involving a love affair with the Secretary of Defense's mistress. When she's murdered, Farrell becomes a prime suspect and is forced into a deadly game of survival, where every move is watched and no one can be trusted. The tension in this film isn't fueled by international plots or high-tech espionage. It's the suffocating pressure of being trapped in a world of secrets and lies. Farrell's journey is one of desperation, as he must navigate through a maze of deception, cover-ups, and betrayal, all while trying to protect himself from being framed for a crime he didn't commit. The film builds suspense through a series of nerve-wracking confrontations where each decision has life or death consequences. Unlike Bond, who thrives in high-risk situations, Farrell is an ordinary man caught in extraordinary circumstances, making his fight for survival all the more intense. No Way Out shows that espionage isn't always about high-speed chases or glamorous villains. Sometimes it's about trying to escape from the web of lies you're caught in. The final twist, which turns everything upside down, will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about loyalty, power, and survival in the world of espionage. The Imitation Game, 2014. The Imitation Game takes espionage to an intellectual, psychological level, showing that the most dangerous secrets are often buried in the minds of the people who decipher them. Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal of Alan Turing, a brilliant but socially awkward mathematician, forms the heart of this gripping tale. Turing's task is monumental: break the German Enigma code during World War II, a challenge that could turn the tide of the war. While espionage films often focus on action, gadgets, and spies in tuxedos, The Imitation Game is a raw, emotional journey into the mind of a man who is both a genius and a misfit. The film doesn't just examine Turing's contributions to espionage. It reveals how secrecy, surveillance, and government manipulation shaped his life in devastating ways. Turing's work was classified for decades, and the cost of his genius was both immense and tragic. This isn't just a war story. It's a story about the human toll of espionage As Turing pieces together the code, the film slowly uncovers the layers of his internal struggle, showing that sometimes espionage is more about the personal cost than the political gain. There's no jet-setting or grandiose action scenes here, just a lonely man locked in a race against time, with a world's fate resting on his shoulders. The Imitation Game proves that espionage isn't just about battling foreign enemies. It's about the human cost of solving secrets, uncovering lies, and living in the shadow of history. Bridge of Spies, 2015. Steven Spielberg's Bridge of Spies is an engrossing Cold War drama that blends espionage, diplomacy, and moral fortitude. The film centers on James B. Donovan, an ordinary American lawyer who is thrust into extraordinary circumstances when tasked with negotiating the exchange of captured American pilot Francis Gary Powers for Soviet spy Rudolph Abel. While James Bond battles villains with outlandish plots and gadgets, Donovan is a man of principle trying to navigate a world of secret deals and international tension. Spielberg crafts a world where espionage is less about high-speed chases and more about human rights, justice, and the art of negotiation. In this world, survival is achieved not through combat, but through the skillful art of dialogue, trust, and moral integrity. Donovan's mission to secure a prisoner swap becomes a delicate chess game, with every move carrying the weight of history. The film's tension isn't driven by the typical action-packed moments we associate with espionage, but by the palpable stakes of diplomacy. Hanks's portrayal of Donovan adds depth to the role, portraying a man who risks his reputation and his safety to do the right thing in a world filled with political gamesmanship. In the end, Bridge of Spies reminds us that espionage isn't just about spying, it's about the unsung heroes who fight for justice in a world that is constantly on the brink of war. The true strength lies in holding firm to your values when everyone else is willing to compromise. Michael Clayton, 2007. Michael Clayton takes the spy genre to a darker, more grounded place, diving deep into the moral complexities of corporate espionage. George Clooney plays Michael Clayton, a fixer at a prestigious New York law firm who is tasked with covering up legal and corporate scandals. When one of the firm's attorneys, played by Tom Wilkinson, goes rogue and threatens to expose a major case involving a deadly chemical company, Clayton is forced into a desperate, high-stakes game of survival. This isn't the world of action-packed spy thrillers with glamorous settings. This is a gritty, morally murky world where the lines between right and wrong are never clear. Clayton isn't a traditional spy. He's a man who's made compromises, solving problems for powerful clients in exchange for his own peace of mind. But when faced with the unraveling of a corporate conspiracy that involves human lives, Clayton must confront his own ethical boundaries and decide whether he's willing to fight for justice or continue his role as a puppet in a corrupt system. Michael Clayton is a tense psychological thriller that doesn't rely on explosive action, but instead focuses on the quiet, excruciating tension of navigating the morally bankrupt world of corporate espionage. The film's intensity builds through conversations, decisions, and moments of revelation where every move counts. Clayton's internal struggle and the constant pressure to maintain control over his own life make this film one of the most thought-provoking espionage dramas, showing how true espionage often lies not in government secrets, but in the corporate power structures that shape the world behind the scenes. The Ides of March, 2011. The Ides of March brings espionage into the realm of politics, where the manipulation of power, the weight of secrets, and the cost of betrayal are far more dangerous than any covert mission. Directed by George Clooney and starring Ryan Gosling, this film explores the murky world of presidential campaigns, where loyalty is as fragile as the truth. Gosling plays Stephen Myers, a young, idealistic campaign press secretary who finds himself tangled in a web of political maneuvering, backstabbing, and moral compromises. When Myers gets too close to the truth behind the scenes, his ambitions collide with the harsh realities of the political system, and he must decide how far he's willing to go to protect his career and reputation. The Ides of March might not feature international intrigue or assassinations, but its espionage is just as dangerous played out in smoke-filled rooms, whispered conversations, and calculated power plays. The political espionage in this film isn't about spying on foreign governments, but about uncovering the corruption within the very systems that are supposed to uphold justice and democracy. The film's strength lies in its tension, built not through physical confrontation, but through psychological warfare. Each character is constantly calculating their next move, as everyone in the story plays a part in an elaborate political game where the stakes are nothing short of a presidential election. The emotional toll on Myers is palpable, as he's forced to reconcile his personal ideals with the reality of a system where loyalty to a cause is often overshadowed by the ruthlessness of politics. This is espionage as it exists in the modern world. Silent, subtle, but immensely powerful. The Ides of March shows that the highest stakes aren't always about the fate of nations. Sometimes they're about the fate of an individual's integrity in the face of overwhelming pressure. A Most Wanted Man, 2014. A Most Wanted Man is an understated, gritty spy thriller that explores the delicate and dangerous world of counterterrorism and intelligence work in the post-9/11 era. Directed by Anton Corbijn and based on John le Carré's novel, the film features Philip Seymour Hoffman in one of his final performances, playing Gunther Bachmann, a German intelligence officer who is tasked with tracking a Chechen Muslim immigrant named Isa Karpov, suspected of having terrorist connections. What sets A Most Wanted Man apart from traditional espionage films is its unflinching look at the ethical and emotional toll of intelligence work. There are no sleek cars or glamorous settings here. This is a world of cold, calculated surveillance, where every action has a cost, and the line between right and wrong is constantly blurred. Gunther is a man who operates in the shadows, using both intelligence and manipulation to infiltrate a complex network of terrorist activities, all while trying to prevent a larger disaster from unfolding. But what truly stands out is the human cost of this work. The sacrifices made, the lives destroyed, and the moral compromises involved. The tension in the film doesn't come from action-packed set pieces, but from the slow, creeping realization that the intelligence world is a minefield of secrets, half-truths, and gray areas. As Gunther gets closer to his target, the film dives deeper into the world of surveillance and espionage, where no one is truly innocent, and every decision could lead to devastating consequences. A Most Wanted Man doesn't glorify the world of espionage. It exposes it as a deeply flawed and morally complex machine, where even the smallest decision can spiral into a tragedy. This film shows the true cost of modern espionage, the lives lost, the trust shattered, and the moral compromises that shape the intelligence world. The Conversation, 1974. Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation takes espionage into the realm of psychological paranoia and the consequences of surveillance, offering a stark contrast to the fast-paced, action-packed world of James Bond. Gene Hackman stars as Harry Call, a private surveillance expert who is hired to record a seemingly innocuous conversation between two lovers. As Harry delves deeper into the tape, he becomes obsessed with the potential consequences of what he's heard. Unlike Bond, who confronts external villains, Harry's primary antagonist is his own moral compass and the looming sense of danger he cannot escape. The film is a slow burn, focusing on Harry's growing isolation and obsession as he begins to suspect that the people he's spying on might be in grave danger. The Conversation is more than a thriller, it's a meditation on guilt, privacy, and the power of information. The tension in the film builds not through physical confrontation, but through the quiet, constant pressure of knowing too much and the heavy burden of moral ambiguity. Coppola's direction is brilliant in its ability to make surveillance feel oppressive, and Hackman's portrayal of Harry is a masterclass in restrained intensity. As Harry becomes increasingly paranoid, we see how espionage can destroy a person from the inside out. The film's exploration of the ethics of surveillance and the erosion of privacy resonates deeply in today's world of constant digital monitoring. Ultimately, The Conversation shows that espionage isn't always about government agents or international crises. It's about the quiet, destructive power of listening to secrets that can ruin lives. This isn't just about spying on others, it's about the toll it takes on the one who listens. Espionage isn't always about high-speed chases or sleek gadgets. It's about the human cost of secrets, betrayal, and surveillance. From personal moral dilemmas to the shadows of political power, these films show the darker side of espionage, where the true price of keeping secrets isn't just lost lives, but shattered souls. Let us know which one's your favorite.